Hello, and welcome to Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. I'm USS Gordon Captain here with,
I'm flashing fire,
and you're watching 312.
aka Zihark goes wild.
So, unlike the previous 312 clear, this 312 clear does not involve Speedwing Master Crown Tauroneo. The big difference here is that Tauroneo will not be able to do the 20 or so kills that he did in the previous two-turn clears, but he's still able to do some combat. And now we have to shove Zihark 3 times. You know, Zihark doesn't have good movement, but shove kind of negates a little bit of his movement disadvantage, and since Dawn Brigade maps in like late part 3 are so short, he doesn't lose as much to Jill as you might think at first.
Yeah, if you have the actions to compensate, then if a unit is old, then that helps. Or like compact maps where only a couple of turns matter.
Yes. There are exactly 3 units that can shove Zihark, so it's pretty glad that he only needs 3 shoves to function.
Yeah, that is fortunate.
Here, Meg gets to do exactly one thing, which is Meg's only contribution in the whole run.
I like that thing, though. I like that thing.
She rescues an archer so that Micaiah can shove a boulder, so that Zihark goes from a 88% chance of killing that general to a 100% chance.
Yeah, and my understanding is that the yellow units usually push that boulder, but you have other plans for them.
Yeah. We, as you can tell, we put Micaiah to use a target command on the yellow units. That's important so the yellow units stay out of the way, because otherwise the Dragon Masters especially would just run up and get in the way of our blue unit Fiesta down in the bottom, where we want as many enemies as possible to run directly into Zihark.
Right. It's the vacuum. So there doesn't seem to be a ton of 1-2 range that Zihark faces. Is that right?
Yeah. There's 0 on turn 1, and there's 2
nice.
range on turn 2.
Okay. That certainly helps, because he has a silver blade, and I guess you can talk about what he needs besides that.
So he needs 23 strength to one-round these halberdiers without having a strength proc. Sorry, without having a crit or an adept proc or an astro proc. This guy he cannot kill without one of those 3, but he has an 88% chance of proccing one of them. 88% isn't all that improbable, but you can't rely it for 10 enemies. But if you only need 1 or 2 with an 88% proc, you're willing to roll with it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to me how it's like throw everything and hopefully something works. But it's actually viable.
Yeah.
In the crits and the adepts and the astras.
And resolve.
Yeah.
So with resolve active, Zihark Survival goes up from 98 to 131.
And that's just sky high.
Yeah, since enemies have anywhere from 124 hit from good biorhythm enemies, anyway, have 130 to 24 hit. A few of them will have 144 hit, so they'll have at most 10 displayed hit on Zihark, which after 2 RN is 1%. And Zihark can afford to live exactly 1 attack that hits him after he procs resolve.
Mm-hmm. And with hard mode, there's no weapon triangle to make that fluctuate for the halberdiers.
Yes.
I guess that helps with the strength benchmark too, because otherwise it would be, well, the enemy stats might be worse, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. No -1 might against lances.
Yeah. Helps with the strength benchmark.
Yeah, I do kind of enjoy, I know you've been, working at this for a long time, and you've seen these enemy phases many, many times, but for me, it's still pretty novel, so I kind of like all the flashing lights and stuff and Zihark going off.
Yeah, I find it just takes forever because the animations are so slow. But the one disadvantage of this is that like the speedrun uses Zihark because the speedrun couldn't use Jill on hard mode,
Hmm.
but the flashing animations took a lot of time off the speedrun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because that happens like every attack, especially once resolve procs, because it's per attack that it calculates,
Yeah.
which is nice in some contexts. Hey, there's Jill. She's doing things.
So Jill needs to hit level 15 strength in order to one round a soldier with a +5 forged steel axe. Um, that benchmark is not necessarily trivial to hit because that requires 2 strength procs on a unit that probably isn't getting many levels, but isn't
Hmm.
difficult either. If she doesn't hit the strength benchmark, you could give her the Brave Axe, and then she will hit it. But if you give her the Brave Axe, you also want her to hit the doubling benchmark
Right.
with the Brave Axe.
And you've been careful not to invest too much in units besides like Zihark and like one or two other.
Yeah. So Jill is above bases, Zihark's above base level, and everyone else is basically bases. The main reason for this is that, well, you have to Juggernaut really hard on,
Mhm.
and Zihark needs it. The other major thing, I guess, that Zihark has done differently is that he hasn't taken any of the boosters other than the energy drop. So that leaves the Seraph robe from Raphael and the Dracoshield from Leonardo and the Seraph robe in the desert free for the Riddle Mercs,
Mhm.
which, depending on exactly how you set things up, might be nice or might do nothing. You can at least skip the Seraph robe in the desert, and if you can find nothing else to do with the Seraph robe from Raphael, you can give it to Micaiah
Oh, for
for
1/9 stuff.
yeah.
It's kind of funny that Makai is like a viable target of that step booster, but stranger things have happened.
So this steel poleaxe guy, 90% of the time, uh, would have been a really nice boon, but unfortunately, Zihark didn't proc enough crits. So normally, if your Silver Blade has 6 or more uses, what you can do is you can keep the Silver Blade on Zihark for the second turn of enemy phase and have Zihark switch weapons to the Storm Sword after killing the Steel Poleaxe guy. The reason you want to do that is because you need to kill these archers here who get in the way with the Storm Sword. The one time where you actually want to use a Storm Sword in the whole playthrough.
Yeah, those things have like 50 hit or something, but ZR doesn't really care, right?
Yeah, Resolve improves his hit rates by his skill to 48, and then extra he has extra hit from biorhythm. So in
Mm.
3-7, you can manipulate biorhythm very easily, and Zihark's biorhythm is the most manipulatable biorhythm type. So you can get him from like worst to best biorhythm in 3-7, or you can get him from keep his biorhythm at best. That would let you avoid needing to kill. This lets you avoid having the problem where, since Zihark's biorhythm is feast or famine, this lets you have the famine while Zihark is a red unit, and have the feast while Zihark is a blue unit.
Right. And when you say most manipulable, you mean like volatile from turn to turn, goes up and down quickly?
No, it goes up and down really slowly.
Oh, okay. I see.
He
But
has
there's enough time on 3/7 where you can
he
plan
has
out. Yeah.
he has multiple turns of best followed by multiple turns of worst.
Okay.
So when you have that, it's a lot easier to control him on 3-7 because you just go, oh, he's going to be best starting at best at like a certain point.
Hmm. So I guess this was a bit of a quandary because Dolan wasn't quite in position.
Yeah, this was a blunder.
Yeah, I saw earlier the yellow units all moved to positions that blocked Nolan from moving any further left. So I suppose that could have been fixed by um, playing with the targeting on turn one, or I guess Fiona could have rescued that warrior, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, rescuing the warrior. Clutch tactics.
Yeah.
All right. Thankfully, it didn't matter because yellow units can, in fact, do combat against 2 enemy Pegasus Knights. Yellow units are actually better than blue units, except for 1 yellow unit is worse than blue units. Sorry, except for 1 blue unit. Well,
Right.
2, I guess. Tauroneo is probably better than most yellow units.
Yeah, tier three tends to help with that.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking about here?
So the Storm Sword had 2 uses, and I really would like to be on that square because it puts you in range of 3 extra enemies. But I
As
realized that,
opposed to one square to the right in front of the priest. I see.
yeah. So the Silverblade kills him. That priest, if you remember, I uploaded a picture. There was exactly 1 enemy left on
Yeah.
turn 4.
Oh, the agony.
That priest blocked the way for enemies. So here was a huge blunder. I didn't move Volug out of the way.
But I guess it worked out regardless.
Yeah. But Volug's worse than yellow units. So it would have been
Yeah.
better if yellow units could have been in the location where Volug is.
Because Volug is half shifted, so his stats are not amazing right now.
Yeah. They were good enough to like wall. They weren't good enough to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Here, yellow units actually get to demonstrate that they can actually do something.
Very nice. Yeah, every unit killed matters.
Yeah.
So if you had moved Volug out of the way, then you think the yellow units would have killed like one more enemy, two more enemies, giving you
1.
some leniency? One? Okay,
That halberdier, exactly.
I see. And that gives you a bit more leniency elsewhere. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that lets Zihark need to kill. That it's less that it gives you more leniency and more it puts less pressure on Zihark avoiding things because he has a 97% chance or 99% chance, depending on the enemy, of dodging their attack. But you're less likely to dodge 7 attacks than you are to dodge 9.
Fair. It is how numbers tend to work.
And he has resolve, which is pretty nice. As you can tell, nothing hits him at all. That's just a property of having over 130 avoid.
Yeah, and that's without like supports too. Because I'm used to like, oh, Zihark has Earth Divinity, double Earth, woohoo, 45 avoid, but not even a factor here.
Yeah, he had Aran support because that was his only legal support partner.
That's kind of funny. So, fun fact, I have actually before today never actually seen someone take out Kieran on this map.
Yeah. Kieran's surprisingly chumpy. So an important thing for Kieran's weapon, you probably want him to wield a steel poleaxe or steel poleaxe is probably best because the weapon he wields will just body Zihark anyway. So if you give him a bronze axe, Zihark's more likely to die.
Right, so you just want less hit.
Yeah, so it has less hit. Zihark can live exactly 1 more attack. And after this level up, that will be 312 cleared in 3 turns without Speedwing Master Crown Tauroneo. I'll see you guys next time, maybe for 3-6.